Hey guys, it's Mr. Osborne. Sorry I sound a little different, but hey, it's still me. I'm going over your Unit 3 review. So this is going to be helpful for you guys that are doing Brave School. Use this video to help you go through the review that I give you. Also, this is broken up into 3 parts. It's broken up page by page. So you have this first page, then you have the second page in the second video, you have the third page in the third video, and then there's a fourth video with the fourth page. Okay? Alright, so let's begin. So the first one, we need to find the pattern. And most of these problems are all finding the pattern. So what we want to do here is first we need to find the change in the y, because remember, pattern or the slope is equal to the change in y over the change in x. Okay, so the change in y on the bottom, going from 11 to 7 or 7 to 3, it's going down, so it's minus 4. And in the top, it's going from 0 to 1 and 1 to 2, so that's plus 1. Now remember, this is the change in y. This is the change in x. And that little triangle, we pronounce it delta, but all it means is change. So change in x, change in y. Now you're going to take these numbers and plug it in to the formula here, which is y over x. So since it's change in y first, that goes on top, negative 4. And then bottom, it'll be positive 1. And then that simplifies simply to negative 4 over 1, which equals negative 4. Okay, next one. Here we're going from 1 to negative 4, and we're going down again from negative 4 to negative 9. That is going down by 5, so minus 5. On the top, the negatives are getting smaller, so then that means that we're adding 2. Okay, so remember it's the bottom number, and then on top, negative 5, and then the top number goes on the bottom. So basically it flips. So then it's negative 5 over 2. Okay, so now in the next one, we have to identify the slope again in the or the pattern. And the nice thing about equations is that it's right there in front of you. So in an equation, we have this form that I'm sure all of you have heard many times. Y equals mx plus b. And the m is our slope, and that's what we're looking for in this case. So here, let's just go ahead and highlight that. So here, there's a slope, negative 4 over 5. So that's our first answer, negative 4 over 5. Okay, now the next one, there's no number written here in front of x, so it's actually just 1. So then that is our slope, right there, 1. Okay, now the next one, what you'll notice is that there's no variable on the right side of the equal sign, because usually it's t of n equals some number, t of n equals some number times n plus 6, but there's no number there. So what could that number be? Well, the only option would be 0, because what happens is when the slope is 0, 0 times n is just 0. So then that's why you only end up with 6 here. So the slope here in this case is 0. So if you have a problem, and sorry about that, and there's no variable on the right side, there's no x, there's no n, then you know that the slope is 0 right away. Okay? So now number 6. Okay, number 6, now we need to use a graph to find the pattern. So from what we do is we take 2 points on the graph. So pick any 2 points. It does not matter where the points are. And you're going to go from one point to the next. So you always go from left to the right. So going from here, in order to get to this point, I have to go down 2. If I go down 2, that's minus 2. And I have to go right, right 2. Okay? So remember, this, again, slope is the change in the y. So the -2 is the change in y, and over the change in x. And this +2 is our change in x. So 2. But then we simplify that. So -2 over 2, well, that simplifies to -1. Okay. Number 7. Now here, there's no clear points written, so you have to find your points. So here I'm going to make a point. Wherever you see the line cross two whole numbers, or where you see, let's say, here's like the part of the graph, and then you see a line that goes right through that middle point, that is a point. And that is a whole number point. So here on this graph, that's a whole number point. This is not a whole number right here. Okay, that lands right in the middle of this tile. And that would be a fraction or a decimal. But this line crosses two whole numbers. So that is a point. So going back here, you go from, remember, we go from left to right. So we're going to go down. We're going to go down 1, 2, 3. And remember, down is negative. And then right 2. And remember, this again is the change in the y. So that goes on top. And this is our change in x. So that goes on the bottom. And there's our slope. And you want to check, can I simplify that? Can you simplify 3 over 2? Can you divide a number into both 3 and 2? And you can't. So that's our answer. But if you can, go ahead and try to simplify. Now, given these set of points, find the slope. So what you're going to do with 2 points is you're going to take one of the points and put it underneath the other. So I'm going to take this one and put it right here. And now, what you want to do is find the change in the y. Well, remember, the y is the one on the right. The x is the one on the left. So the change in y, we're going from 1 down to 9. I'm sorry, from 1 to 9. And that's a positive change. That's going up the number line. And we're going up by 8. Going from 1 to 9. We're going up 8. So that's plus 8. That's the change in the y. Okay, so change in y. Change in x. 8 on top. And here, we go from -4 to 2. We're going from negative to a positive number, so that is a positive change. And we're going up 6. So the bottom change in x will be 6. But now we have to check, can we simplify that? Is there a number you can divide into both of those? And there is. And the biggest number you can divide is 2. So I'll divide 2 here. Divide 2 here. 8 divided 2 is 4. 6 divided 2 is 3. And that is our slope, 4 over 3. Okay. Alright. So that's page 1. Go ahead and click on the next video for page 2.